For these problems, we can use both your TI calculator and the applet. The applet is in the link in the description below. Now, to do this problem right here with the applet, we need to first enter in the mean and standard deviation, 1,133 and a standard deviation of 100. That is how this would be read and normally distributed. So let's go here to the applet and type in 1,133 and then for the standard deviation 100. Let's double check. That is correct. We need the 47th percentile now. Now this is where it can get a tiny bit tricky. The area would be 0.47, but when we think about the 47th percentile, that means 47% needs to be below it. This is the proper way of using the David M. Lane applet to get the answer to this question. But let's try to do it with the TI calculator. We can hit second, which is the blue button, and then vars, which actually brings us to distribution. We need to use inverse norm. Inverse norm takes a percentile and turns it into a point. So the first thing you need to enter in is the percentile or area. So I'd enter in 0.47, and then I would enter in the mean and the standard deviation. Now some calculators will prompt you for this, other ones you will have to enter in with commas. This will give me the exact same answer right here of 1,125.492. We need to round to the nearest whole number. If you're having trouble using the normal CDF or the inverse norm, look in the links below and you will see how to use them via other YouTube videos. The 91st percentile is found the same way over here on the same applet. Change this to 91st, and we have the answer now, 1,267. To change this on your calculator, all you would need to do is use the same function, the inverse norm again, but this time change the area to 0.91, 1,133, 100. If your calculator prompts you with area, mean, and standard deviation, you do not need to enter in the commas. And we get the same answer. Now the IQR can be a little tricky on this problem. This is the middle 50%. Meaning we need to get the 25th and the 75th percentile and then subtract the two. So let's go ahead here. We can go to between and do the middle 50%. As you see here, let's make sure it changes. There we go. And as you see here, you always have to make sure you click away from it. If you type something in and don't click, it won't change. So after we click away, we have the middle 50%. Now we just need to subtract the two numbers. When we subtract these two numbers right here, we get 135. That would be 1,200.419 minus 1,065.581. Q3 minus Q1 because this is the 75th percentile, and this is the 25th because this is the middle 50%. There's only 25% on each side of this. It might not look like it, but this is what we have right here. Going on to the next problem right here. We have a similar problem to what we were doing on the last homework. So we have another model that can be described with a mean of 194 and a standard deviation of 21. So let's go back to our David M. Lane applet. 194 and 21. And we can switch what we're doing right here. On this one, I believe we need to use this. This is where we can enter in the points and get the area above or below it. So this top one is like the normal CDF, where we can take the area between points, and the second one is like the inverse norm. So if you're thinking about what you're doing in your calculator, if you're using this top one to get an answer, it'd be normal CDF, and if you're using this bottom one, because you're putting in an area, it's the inverse norm on your calculator. So let's see what the question asks us. It asks us, draw and label the model. Well, since we've already drawn it out, it's nice and easy. We can look at what's on the other screen, and practicing drawing this out for the test is always good. As you can see, the standard deviations over here are too big, too small, and the middle is just right. What percent of adults do you expect to have cholesterol levels above 210? Now 210 is right here. That means when we break this down, there'd be 16% out above 215. So probably around 20%. I'm just guessing right now. That is just a guess. So let's say above 210, I said 20%, it is 22.31. Now here's the thing. It wants us to round to 2 decimal places. Make sure you round to 2 decimal places. It will give you the wrong answer if you enter in 22.3. What percent of adults do you expect to have cholesterol levels between 170 and 180? Now I want to highlight something about this question. This one right here is a perfect one to use the normal CDF on. If we go to second vars again on our calculator and do normal CDF, it will have the lower 170, comma, 180, comma, mean, which is 194, comma, standard deviation, which is 21. If your calculator prompts you for them, you do not need to enter in the commas. Use the links in the description below if you're a little bit confused how to use the calculator on that. And we will get the same answer here of 12.59. And there it is. Going back over here, we enter in 12.59. Next, estimate the interquartile range. So the interquartile range is the inner 50% again, the middle 50%. And we can do that right over here. And I already have it up on the screen. Let's look right here. It looks like we have a distance of about 28. It'd be 208.158 minus 179.842. That's because this is the 75th and this is the 25th. So that is a distance of 28 when we do it on the calculator right here. So let's go ahead right here and type in 28, and good deal. Above what value are the highest 15% of adults' cholesterol levels? We need to use the second applet here again for this. So with this in mind, the highest 15%. Now if you notice this won't be the highest 15%, we need to make sure we click right there. This would also be the 85th percentile. To do this on your calculator, you will need to find the 85th percentile because the calculator always goes from left to right. So the highest 15% is the 85th percentile, which is 215.763. So round to 216. Going on further here. Talking about kindergarten kids and their heights. So what fractions of the kids should the company expect to be less than 38 inches tall? So let's go ahead and type in the 39.2 and 1.9 into both applets. 39.2 and 1.9. 39.2 and 1.9. Let's double check those numbers. 39.2 and 1.9. And we want less than 38 inches tall. Right there. Now to do this one on the calculator, we will use Normal Cdf again. Normal Cdf lower, and you can enter in -999 or 0 because we need to go all the way here to the left. The calculator doesn't understand start at -infinity because this graph never ends. So you can enter in 0, that works, or -999 for your lower, comma, and then 38, and then comma, the mean, which is 39.2, and the standard deviation, which is 1.9. And this will obtain us the same answer we have on the screen of 26.38. Round to 1 decimal place, 26.38 rounds to 26.4. In what height interval should the company expect the middle 80%? So switching over between the applets. Now you could do this one on the calculator by getting the 10th percentile and the 90th percentile. Let's just look at that right here. The middle 80% would start at the 10th percentile and go to the 90th because there's 80% in the middle. That works, but you would just use the inverse norm. But it's much easier to do it on the applet. But getting some practice and drawing this out will get you ready for the test. A lot of people ask, how will I know what's on the test? Well, be able to draw this out and then break it down with the 0.15, 2.35, 13.5, 34, 34, 13.5, 2.35, 0.15. That will get you ready for the test. So 36.76. 41.64. Oops. 41 point, yep, there it is. And wants to round to 1 decimal place. Very important, always check the rounding. Easy way to get messed up. At least how tall are the biggest 25%? So this would be inverse norm 0.75. And let's type it in like we would in the calculator just to see it right here. Inverse norm 0.75 gets you the 75th percentile. And make sure to enter in your mean and standard deviation or you'll get the z-score because it will assume a 0,1 and 0,1 is the standard normal. So with this in mind, the tallest 25%, which is the 75th percentile, would have heights above 40.481 inches. Good job on this homework. Definitely check out the links below. Make sure you can use your calculator because you will have that on the test. It's a huge help sometimes. Just knowing how to use it in certain situations can really help. Good luck.